Good morning. All right. I'm talking about shortcuts today. So, I recently ran a 9-mile run around the loop of Lake Paris, and it was fantastic. It was amazing. Maybe I'll put up some photos. Super cool, super fun. Something about running that I like is that you actually, dependent on the run itself and what you're surrounded by, what you're subjected to, you can run without music because, well, the sights are just so much better than what you're listening to. Um, but towards the end of the race, I remember there was a little gap where there was two paths you could have taken. Right, so I was coming around. Literally, I was about 100 yards. Yeah, I was about 100 yards away or so from finishing the race or from finishing the run, and to get there, I could either take this little gap and hill downstairs or down the sort of trail, or I could just take the road that leads to it, right? And I really did look at the trail going downward, but then I was like, nah, I don't want to take the shortcut. I'd rather just kind of take the road. And that's kind of the nature of who I am, right? Like, I don't want to take shortcuts in any given time or any given time frame. Because now reflecting on it recently, I if I really think about it, there's more of a likelihood I increase my chances of getting injured if I took down that hill or that trail downward just to get closer to my goal, which was 100 feet or so, or 100 yards or so, just to get to the finish line. Where if I just took the road already paved for me, well, I'd be getting my way onto the finish line with ease, right? So that was something. That was something I thought of, and it kind of made me reflect a little bit too. Where I think I talked about it once was artificial progress, right? Artificial progress is when you have a specific goal in mind, and instead of thinking of hard work as the first objective trait or objective thing to do in pursuit of what it is that you want, then you likely will get the thing, but it won't be as advantageous or as good as you had pictured or expected it to be. So, let me explain. You will. Dad was already out here first, so he beats me to it. Um, for example, artificial progress. The first thing you think of is a 30-day challenge that can get you to lose 20 pounds in 30 days. Or you can immediately go online to find a get rich quick scheme and make $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month, right? You can do all these specific things, but it's going to only lead to artificial progress. What is artificial progress? If you really think about it, artificial in the sense of getting it quick, getting it fast, getting it done, but not maintaining, not it culminating and building itself around you, and it being temporary, a temporary sort of progress. You know, if I think about it in the sense of losing 20 pounds in 30 days, yeah, sure, you lose the 30 pounds, but it took a sheer amount of willpower, a sheer amount of discipline, quote unquote, to be able to sustain that and maintain it and to be able to lose the 30 or 20 pounds. But once you reach that 20 pound threshold, there's not a need or not a want to continue on further on because you've used and you've cooked your entire willpower. That the moment you reached your goal, well, guess what? It's back to eating the foods that I wasn't allowing myself to eat. It's no longer going out on a run first thing in the morning. It's no longer going into the gym. It's just, okay, I lost the 20 pounds. My goal is accomplished. Now I could go back to doing what I want. And going back to doing what you want, not allowing yourself to build up to a particular lifestyle that you had in mind. Well, you go back and you gain 20 pounds again. So it's artificial progress, right? You lose it for a certain amount of time, but then you regain it back because you didn't build the skills, the habits, or surrounded it toward the lifestyle that you want to lead. And that's kind of what brings me back to the shortcut. The shortcut is always the quick way out. The shortcut is always whatever, right? Like, we take the shortcut so we can get to our destined location quicker, which in a way sounds beneficial, in a way sounds good and something that we want, but the shortcut is always the long way out. The shortcut is always the long way out. If you really think about it, like hypothetically speaking, right? Let's say I took that run down the trail, and right when I was about to finish the 9 mile run, I already ran 8 miles, or 8.75 miles. Why am I going to take a shortcut to finish the race, right? Like, why am I going to do that? Okay. When it's just clear as day, I could just go through this trail. But let's say I do take it. One, I'm cutting myself short by not finishing the race in the way it's meant to be finished. But let's say, hypothetically speaking, knock on wood, I go down that trail and I break my ankle or I break my knee because, well, I wanted to take the shortcut. Well, now that shortcut is actually the long way out because, well, had I ignored it, I would have been healthy, not injured, and not in debt of however much money it takes in order to fix, replace, and better betterment my knee, right? But since I go down that path, I put myself down to a trail that only holds me back rather than propels me to move forward. So the shortcut is always the long way out. But if I had just taken the path, well, I wouldn't have gotten injured. I wouldn't have had to deal with the new amount of money that I have to put in to repair and fix myself, right? Yeah. The shortcut is always the long way out. So, one thing that's been helping recently is I think there was always this means to be as disciplined as I used to be, which was, I mean, very just fucking down, balls to the wall, crazy, just insane sort of discipline that I talk about a lot, but just a crazy amount of willpower because the goals that I had created called for me to act aligned with the goals that I made. Jim Rohn has this quote that says, "Make goals that make something of you in pursuit of achieving them." Yes, which is such a good quote. Which is, yeah, make goals so big, so vast that the character, the person that you have to be in order to fulfill them, works daily through you. Like he just works through you, and the person that comes out of you in pursuit of achieving it is far better than yeah, it's far better had you had made smaller, more realistic goals. But because you made goals that were so advantageous and so high up in the ceiling, it called for you to use more willpower, more energy, more alignment, right? Like it just calls for you to act and become more. And in the process of you trying to reach that goal, that expectation, you will have grown into an individual that is so much more capable had you had created smaller, more realistic goals. That's it, right? So it was always that, right? Create big goals and then call for myself to work in a way that is aligned with that goal. And I think I did that for a long period of time. However, I'm noticing, like the older I've gotten, the more I've realized how much I like being here rather than in the future, which was always the thing. I think there was a reality far better out there when I was younger. Like when I get there, I will be this. When I reach here, I will be this. It was always when I, then I'll. When I get this house, when I get this home gym, then I'll be happy. Once I get my family, once I find my wife and have a kid, then I'll be happy. But when I was younger, I was never able to be here because I just didn't like being here physically where I was or mentally where I was because for some reason I couldn't accept the area, the environment, the position that I was in, given that I felt I was different and more intelligent or smarter or wiser or stronger mentally than most individuals around me or most people around me, you know? There was always that sort of thing going on. So I was never able to like be here. I can't remember why I said that. So pretty much the main reason as to why things have changed is the older I've gotten, the more I'm able to be present in the moment. The older I've gotten, the more present in the moment I've become. And when you become more present in the moment, well, you're less wanting to sacrifice things that bring you pleasure, even though you kind of understand that there's a certain means to, in a way, sacrifice things in order to reach the sufficient success that you want to achieve. Like it takes some sort of sacrifice. But instead of getting rid of stuff, I'm just putting more energy into stuff that I want to do, right? And that's such a different shift, right? Like putting more energy into to the stuff that you actually want to do, right? Putting in more energy into the things that you want to do. In doing that, in putting more energy into saying yes to yourself and to the things that you want to do more, you inadvertently sacrifice things that are no longer for you, for things that you probably don't want to be partaking in anymore. And that, in and of itself, is a means of discipline because you're choosing not to work on things that are no longer for you. But at the same time, you're also accepting and fueling the curiosity, the drive, and the want to go deeper into a craft or go deeper into a relationship or go deeper into, I don't know, getting a promotion, right? There's all kinds of things, but the more you start choosing to put in more of your energy into it, the more you inadvertently sacrifice the other things that are no longer for you. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that there is no sort of shortcut in this sort of thing. I think the long way is the shortcut. The long way is the shortcut because you guarantee your success if you just stay consistent in it. Not only that, in the process of you staying consistent, in the process of you choosing the long way, which is the long journey, the long path, you become the type of character that is capable of withstanding it. But in the process, you're able to enjoy it more because you're viciously aware, keen, and in the present moment when you're diligently working on the thing that you want to work on. And there's a great pleasure in working in something that you actively want to do just by the sheer enjoyment of doing it, not for the outcome that you do the thing for, right? The process is the reward, not the outcome for, yeah, the process is the reward, not the outcome for what you put yourself into the process for. And yeah, stop choosing the shortcut in your life. Like, we all have shortcuts. We all have things that we can go out and do and be able to reach a particular endeavor or reach a status or reach a certain amount of money that allows us to enjoy ourselves a bit more, but it's always going to be artificial progress. Maybe the money that you're making illegally is only going to cause you anxiousness and worry, where if you had just gone back to, I don't know, like trucking or a counselor job, then you probably would be making a good like a well earned living by doing things that helps rather than having to peek over your shoulder because of what you're doing. You know, like at the end of the day, you have your shortcuts, but it's always going to be artificial progress. It's not going to withstand, it's not going to sustain itself. So instead of peering around, instead of choosing that route, just choose the one that is sustainable and the one that you can maintain for a long period of time. But in the meantime of you doing it, go out and actively compete against yourself. Go out and Try to run. Go out and try to write. Go out and try to paint. Try to find something that is play to you. Like, what is play to you? And the more you can actively poke at fun, the more you can actively withstand having fun and giving yourself the allowance to have fun, then the more of a, I don't know, just a playful spirit, a enjoyable person to be around will make itself inside of you because you don't take yourself as seriously. And the way of the long run, the way for it to withstand, the way for you to be able to persist is by not taking it so seriously, even when the days are rough, even when the days are cold, even when the days are hot. Because the playful spirit that can play, the playful spirit that doesn't take itself so seriously, can be able to withstand joy in the present moment, even if it's simply being outside in nature. Because, I don't know, the journey is so much more enjoyable when you enjoy it, right? Like when you choose to opt to enjoy it rather than bemoan it, question it. But there will be days, and you have to understand that those days are guaranteed. Like you have to welcome that sort of experience and that emotion so that way once it comes to mind, well, you've already welcomed it, and the more seamless it will be, the more you move forward with it. And yeah, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot. Um, okay. More nature time. Spend more spend more time in nature. Get off your phone. Read a book. Uh, get get into some. I only say this because like I don't know people who listen to it like bro just I fuck aesthetics. Fuck trying to get jacked or trying to get lean or trying to get skinny or trying to get big. Just do it for your mental health, bro. Like do it so you can stop pondering your own existence. Do it so you can stop being so miserable with your life. Do it so you can find a time where you can actually listen to music for an hour and have a good reason to do it. Like, if you're depressed, fine, accept that, embrace it. But go listen to some depressed music inside of a gym. Like, go do that. Okay, go do that for an hour and just literally be aware of how much better you feel after doing it. And if you can't persist in doing it, that's okay too, because it's only going to last for a certain amount of time. If you think that your finals are getting in the way, if you think that your job is getting in the way, guess what? It won't always be that way forever. It's interesting how we, it's so interesting how we live forward, right? We move in a forward, sort of concrete and linear way. But when we look back, it's so cool and so interesting that everything has shifted and that things have evolved, even though we feel as though we've lived the same day. But reflecting back, we've just evolved and matured and molded into a different individual without our knowing, right? It's not until we reflect back and look. It's just so cool. So, yeah, uh, go for a run. Super cool. Super fun now. I'm getting into my little running phase, which is very nice. I didn't think this would come. I probably have like over the last never mind. Over the last like 60 days, probably like 40 runs. I'm not bad. Not bad. I'll take it. But um yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I need to leave you with. I like what Chris Williams says. I'm going to love you and I'm going to leave you. But yeah, that feels just about it. I'm going to go right now. So, mwah. I'll see you guys later.